Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 5th. You have this delicate rose card. It says, be willing to say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. You have this dream catcher card. It says, pay attention to signs, messages, and guidance that come to you at night. Yes, definitely. Your dreams could be on fire right now, so I would be, definitely having like a dream journal. I find that like first thing right when you wake up is the best time to kind of record your dreams or try to remember whatever happened in your dreams. This could also, you're a Pisces, so this could also be daydreams as well, or like shower dreams. When you're in the shower, you might get a lot of good ideas, or anywhere else, and I would be writing those things down for sure. You have the Sun, the King of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the thing is, you have this card that says, be willing to honestly say what you feel, no matter how terrifying it may seem. And the thing is, Pisces, with Neptune moving into Aries, into your second, and also Saturn will be moving there as well soon enough, it's kind of like Pisces is having to like redefine what success looks like for you. And, that could mean anything, right? So I think that is the challenge with Neptune in Aries for Pisces, is going to be like redefining success, redefining what makes you happy. Happiness definitely looks like a theme here. In this reading, you have the Sun and the Ten of Cups. So focusing on happiness. I know a lot of you are worried about Neptune and Aries. I get a lot of comments about it, mostly from Pisces. I get it. I think Pisces has been, dealing with enough financially, or like enough issues financially. And I know some astrologers have talked about it in a negative way, but really it's not going to be negative. Again, I think the trick is, it is tricky, right? Because the trick is to redefine success as you want it. If that means that you create a business where you only have to work 2 hours a day, then that's what it means, right? But then you have to go and do it. So I kind of feel that for you, Pisces, with that first card. You have the Sun, King of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. Definitely success. I mean, definitely could be a lot of happiness and joy coming in for you this week. May definitely is a good month for Pisces. So, I do like May. I like the summer. I like the rest of the year. Really, the second half of the year is really good for Pisces, but starting in May, even though that's, not really the second half yet, but we're close. And so there could be like a lot of happiness and joy coming in. You have the King of Pentacles. I like the King of Pentacles. He's a card of wealth, stability. He's a card of using your skills as well. He has these grapes all over his cloak, and he uses those grapes. Those grapes represent a skill that he has. And in the tarot, grapes are considered something that's difficult to grow, but he can do it well. So it kind of says that he has a skill that's difficult for most people, but he can do well. So a lot of you probably have a skill that you could be using to create more success or to create more abundance, and I would just be using your skills with the King of Pentacles. One other thing that I'm getting here is to like be careful of playing it too safe. I feel that, again, if you're like shrinking, if you're in that shrinking energy where you're kind of like clamming up, Pisces, those are going to be the moments where you're like, you think about some sort of like past fear or issue or worry. But if you face things like head on at this time and take responsibility for things, but also like speak up, share your ideas, put your ideas out into the world, things like that, then you'll probably be increasing your wealth and you won't be shrinking. You'll be expanding. So I would be expanding at this time, even though that's not really what he represents. That's what I'm getting. You have the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, this is probably what you want, is gratitude and luxuries. Of course, again, with all that, you're going to have a bunch of energy that's moving through your second house in Aries soon. So a lot of you are focused on like creating financial stability. And again, that's the other thing about Neptune and Aries in the second for Pisces, is that, it's not so much that, I think like based off the comments, again, I think some people are worried that, that it's going to like take away Pisces money or something along those lines. But that's not really what it's about. It's about, it can make things a little bit unclear financially. But number one, years ago, you had Uranus in your second house, which is the worst for sure. So it's like you learned a lot of lessons, over those years where Uranus was in Aries. And so like now that Neptune is in Aries, it's time for you to implement what you learned. And it's not about being perfect either, but it's about like, can you just have a little bit of money off to the side, right? And maybe that's a lesson you had to learn. Maybe you avoided something financially during that time that you should have taken care of. Can you not do that again, right? And if you do those things, then you will be perfectly fine. As I said to you in your last reading, I think, having Saturn there is going to be a blessing for the first 3 years of Neptune and Aries. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but having Saturn there is kind of giving you the discipline to, kind of like really solidify your financial dreams or whatever you want to call it. So like I have said before, I am not worried about money or things that you value. I think sometimes Neptune in the second, in Aries especially, it's like there might be some things that you value that you have to let go of. But the thing is that what it's really about is that if you have things, anything, could be like a car or, some other type of luxury item or something. If you are attaching your identity to that thing, then it's probably going to leave your life. But if you're not, then you'll be fine. Yeah, you're going to be fine. With the Sun, you have the Ten of Pentacles. Definitely looks like a very good money week. I do get the need, like I feel like it would be a good week for you to do something. Like could be a random project. Maybe there could be like a random opportunity for you to like make money on the side or something like that as well. And so I would be taking advantage of any financial opportunities to like do overtime, extra work, and, side gigs, side hustles, things like that with the Ten of Pentacles. But also, with the Sun, and you also have the Ace of Swords here, this could just say that, again, your ideas, your dreams are kind of on fire at this time. And I would be setting things up to be successful. With the King of Pentacles, you have the Lovers. Again, May is a good love month for Pisces. It wouldn't really surprise me if some of you were meeting a person. The King of Pentacles would be like a very stable, secure person. Could be an Earth sign. Could be any sign. You always have Leo showing up in your readings as well. It's really weird. I for whatever reason, I have about 900 Leos in my life, and a bunch of them are all with Pisces. So, I don't know. There you go. Definitely could be love if you're into that sort of thing. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Hermit. The Hermit is about being in hermit mode, but I also get this feeling. I got this feeling on that King of Pentacles about holding back a little bit, and that could be the Hermit. The Hermit, he has his inner light inside this lantern, but he's keeping his inner light hidden inside his lantern. He needs to kind of come down from the mountain. The story of the Hermit is that he climbed to the top of this mountain and now he's in isolation, but he needs to maybe come out of isolation. It's like time for him to show off his skills. And you also have the Nine of Pentacles, which, she also has grapes behind her. So there's definitely something in this first row about kind of like using a skill that you have here to create abundance with the, Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles. So it looks very good financially for sure. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Practice Freedom card. It says, release the weight of judgment. Yes, that is definitely Neptune and Aries. It's like you are, if you are having a hard time with money, but again, if you're like attaching your identity to what other people think you should be doing, then you're going to have a hard time, right? So this basically says you need to do what you want to do to make money, right? And not what other people want you to do or what you think you should do. That's the other problem for Pisces, I would say, is like if you are thinking, not feeling what you should do, that could be a problem, because you could be thinking like, oh, to be responsible, the world tells me I have to go do this, this, and this, but my heart is actually saying something else, but the world tells me to do this. That's not going to work out well. So there you go. Do what you need to do. It may be difficult, but now is the time. There you go. Didn't I say that? Do what you need to do or something? So I think you need to do what you need to do here, Pisces, with that card. You have the Five of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Five of Swords. A little bit of fear off of these two fives. Five of Cups would be like the fear of regrets. The Five of Swords, I kind of get this fear of missing out, or the fear of like walking away from something that is supporting you right now. And so I feel some of you need to let go of your fears. Definitely a big theme for you as well, Pisces, is that you might be letting go of something that just no longer serves you. He's grieving the loss of these 3 cups here, and the story of the card is that he's lost his taste for wine, but he doesn't enjoy it anymore in the first place. So it's kind of like he's sad about letting go of something that he wouldn't even accept in his life if he got it again. So again, this definitely says it's time to kind of like let go of things that you're holding on to that you no longer need to hold on to, right? You show up here as the King of Cups, so whenever you show up as yourself, kind of puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. Pretty good card because, he's very emotionally stable at this time. If you look at his face, he's perfectly fine, even though he's sitting in these choppy waters. So I do feel that you could be feeling kind of strong this week. You could be feeling emotionally stable. We even end with the Strength card and the Six of Swords. Strength would be strength, and the Six of Swords, choppy waters. So, some of you, there could be things going on around you, but it's like you are perfectly fine. The other thing about the King of Cups is that he has this boat back here, and sometimes, that boat kind of represents going into the unknown. It represents exploring something that you aren't sure of or that you just don't know. So I think it would be a good week to do that. You have the Five of Swords. Again, I just get fears on these fives. Like, I really feel like this could be the fear of losing, the fear of loss just in general. And I kind of feel that energy for some of you with the Five of Swords. I also feel it could be like the fear of just walking away from something. And, which is kind of like a common, I do think it is a common fear right now that people could be, especially because we had Pluto go from Capricorn to Aquarius. That cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius is like the death of establishment. So it's like if you have established something in your life, you have built something up. And if you're, it can be scary to walk away from something that supported you for a long time. And really, again, with, the way to also think of that Neptune energy is Neptune is kind of like transmutation a little bit. And, you can transmute the energy. It's like sometimes I think people build a pillar in their life. They build something that supports them. And then they kind of feel like they need to move away from it. It's like you're not necessarily knocking that pillar down. It's like you've learned a lot from whatever that thing is that you've built. So you're just like building another one. Right? That same pillar stays there. It would be like if I were to start another YouTube channel and quit this one. It's not going to happen. Don't worry. But I'm just saying. It's like this would still exist. But I would be taking all my knowledge, everything I've learned, and I would be building something new with it. Right? So, that's kind of like the mindset shift I think that needs to happen here. Like you're not starting over. Even the Six of Swords, I say that all the time on the Six of Swords. They feel like they're starting from scratch, but they're not. They have these 6 swords in front of their boat, and those 6 swords represent the lessons, the wisdom, the spiritual lessons, everything they learned. So they're not starting from scratch, and neither are you. With the Five of Cups, you have the Fool. Yeah, it's like time to change the Five of Cups for sure. If he turns around and is grateful for these 2 cups, he gets the bridge and the castle. So I feel that a lot of you are already feeling pulled in a new direction in your life, and the Fool just says, take the leap of faith. I think another thing about Pisces is that you need to get comfortable being called foolish. I mean, that is so Piscean. It's like Pisces does things that no one has ever seen before, so it's like, of course people are going to say your ideas are dumb or foolish, but then your job is to go do it anyway and prove them wrong. With the King of Cups, you have the Judgment card. I feel like it's a very powerful week for you this week for sure, and I feel that you could be feeling a very strong pull, like I already said. These people are being called up out of their coffins by their higher self angel right here. The coffin represents their old life, and outside the coffin is their new life. So they're being called to step into something like a new life. With the Five of Swords, what do you know? You have 555 here. 555 is a big change number. Five of Wands can represent conflict or competition, but the Five of Wands basically says we can learn from the competition. We don't have to take part in competition. And so your job is to like rise above it with the Five of Wands. I also feel this could clearly be, it's like I feel Pisces is good at putting on a brave face, right? It's like I've known clearly a lot of Pisces in my life, and a lot of them, their life can be falling apart, but you would never know it, right? They're good at kind of like keeping it hidden. But at the same time, I don't really, this is a good reading, so I don't really feel there's like much chaos. I think this is more like taking a risk to walk away from something. Next, in the area messages from your future self, you have this card that says, a true artist lives their art. There you go. Let your life be your canvas and you will create your greatest masterpiece. Damn. I love that, Pisces. You have this financial freedom card. It says, when you are financially free, your lack of money no longer defines the limitations in your life. That is my challenge to all you Pisces, is to become financially free over the next 14 years, right? It won't even take you that long if you put in the work, if you stay disciplined, right? Like Saturn will teach you the discipline needed to maintain something. That, you know, I think maybe the issue, it's like something that can come up with Neptune in your second is that you can be working on something that is maybe seasonal, right? Where it's like you make money all summer long and then maybe the winters you don't make as much money for whatever reason. Or you could be, people can start doing like contract work when Neptune goes into their second house. And so, obviously if you're doing contract work, money can be up and down, up and down, up and down. But your job is to somehow create financial freedom. How can you do both at once, right? Well, what you could do, right, if you were a contractor, is you could start a YouTube channel teaching people how to do what you do. And so that would kind of help you during those times where you're not making money or you don't have clients. It would also probably attract more clients. Again, we are in a time where it's like the gatekeepers are gone. It's like there's nothing that's preventing you from having something else that also supports what you're doing. Again, pillars, right? I think this is a pillars reading for Pisces. It's like if you have one good pillar, you just need to build a couple of more pillars in your life. And pillars can be anything that supports you, and that's where this financial freedom is going to come from. But, again, this artist card says you need to do what you want to do at this time. You have the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Cups, and the Seven of Wands. The Ace of Swords is a victory, success, overcoming obstacles, creating more balance in your life. So that's amazing. The Ace of Swords would also be your truth, which again, I think some of you could be walking away from one thing and doing something else that you enjoy, or you could be transmuting something that you work on right now into something else. And again, maybe you're not even quitting anything else. I am working on my other brand, right, at the same time that I'm working on this one. I'm not doing it. I'm not quitting this, I'm just working on something else as well. And I'm building another pillar in my life, right? So it's going to be different for all of you, but definitely will lead to a victory. You have the Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is like true happiness. It's happy home, happy family, fortune after difficulty. Like I said, makes the whole entire reading pretty positive with the Ten of Pentacles, Sun, and the Ten of Cups. There is a little bit of love here, so if you want love, definitely could be attracting a person that you will have a strong connection with. I would make sure that you're being more realistic. I mean, definitely with that Neptune in the second, Ten of Cups is not really a bad card, but sometimes I think the Ten of Cups can be a little bit too much fantasy, living in the fantasy, not bringing it down to reality. So I would make sure that it's perfectly fine for you to fantasize right now, but I would be bringing those fantasies down to earth, like grounding them in reality. You have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card of like grounding things in reality. It's a card of conviction. It says when you know that something is going to be successful, when you believe it deep down into your core, into your soul, into your DNA, that's when something will truly be successful for you. So the Seven of Wands is about developing those beliefs and being convicted in what you are doing. I feel like if you're floundering, perfect fish analogy, right? If you're floundering around, if you're not really committing to things, then you're going to have a hard time. It's like if you come up with some sort of commitment to what you're doing, then you are going to be a lot more successful. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. For example, for my brand, I've been writing every single morning, and I have not missed a morning for the past 2 months, right? And I've been writing my newsletter, little posts, all sorts of stuff to build that up. So it's like I'm taking one action to make something happen. And it's simple, but it works. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Knight of the Ace of Swords, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Definitely time to get started. We have the Fool. We have a lot here that says you are ready. The Fool, Seven of Wands, sometimes he feels like he's not ready. He has a shoe and a boot on the card. So, the story of the Seven of Wands is that he had to rush out of his house and defend his position at the top of the hill. So he might not have felt ready to do what he's doing. But, again, it's another card that basically says there will never be a perfect moment for you to do anything. Like, the time is now. With the Ten of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. Yeah, the Wounded Warrior. If you want love, I would definitely heal those past wounds. I do feel like some of you could be kind of like giving love a second chance here. Not as in like a past person, but, just love in general. The Nine of Wands, he's like ready to give up, but he's not giving up. So there you go. With the Seven of Wands, you have the Eight of Wands. Yeah, quick success. It's like if you develop some sort of daily routine around what you're doing. I am a big believer in this. For the first, 4 or 5 years of my channel, I would just do my videos whenever the hell I wanted, right? And, my life was basically a mess because of it. And then for the last 4 or 5 years, basically I've done 4 videos every single morning, no matter what, right? I just stick to that one routine. And normally I'm done before 9 o'clock, some days before 8 o'clock with my readings, right? And so having that routine really helps, and building the momentum by doing something like that is really, I have found that it leads to a lot of success. Same thing with the writing I'm doing, right? It's like every single day I write one kind of pillar post, speaking of pillars, right? That is about a topic, right? And I use that post to create other posts that I'm doing for the brand. And it just makes it a lot easier. But doing it every single day is what builds the momentum. And the Eight of Wands is all about, that camera's not cooperating today, but the Eight of Wands, it's all about momentum. It's all about focusing in one direction and kind of coming up with a plan on how you're going to do something. And again, keep it simple. That's the other thing with Neptune and Pisces. If you try to overcomplicate it, it's going to be hard. But if you pick one good activity, then it's going to be better. And I would pick a compound activity. These videos for me, these get edited and turned into shorts sometimes. It's a compound activity. I do the work once, I get more from it. Same thing with the writing I'm doing. The writing gets turned into tweets, it gets turned into different posts, it gets turned into newsletters, right? One thing leads to many other things. And that's how I would be thinking with that Eight of Wands, for sure. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the self-regulation card and this changes card. Obviously, there's a ton of changes going on in this reading, so I would say that makes sense. The King of Cups is self-regulating. He's able to regulate his emotions. So a lot of you could just notice that you are more regulated this week, or you're feeling better this week in general. You have the Strength card, Six of Swords, and the Hangman. The Strength card is about a display of strength. She's putting her strength on display here on the card, and she has her hands in that lion's mouth. She is the one that is in control of the words that are in her head. The lion represents her inner voice, and she is the one that's taking control of it. So I feel it would be an amazing time for you to take control of your inner voice. One thing I will tell you is since March, I've been doing sleep meditations, which I'm not so sure that they work, but I'm still doing it. I've been listening to affirmations every single morning while I'm doing my writing, and I've been writing my affirmations. So I'm really trying to brainwash myself here at this time. So I think it would be a good thing to start brainwashing yourself to be more positive, right? To take control of your inner voice. You have the Six of Swords, definitely moving on to calmer shores. This week could feel like that, could feel like you're actually making progress, moving forward, being able to take a break and all that other good stuff. And that's what I would do with the Six of Swords. You have the Hangman, you showing up here. Whenever you show up as yourself, puts you in a position of power and strength and really allows you to get what you want from the reading. So I feel a lot of you are just kind of showing up in a good position here, Pisces. So I do like to see that for you as well. With the Strength card, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, definitely could be a fire sign or someone who's very fiery coming in for you. So if you're looking for love, there you go. Could be a very bold, confident person. I also feel this could be you. Again, it's a great time to be an entrepreneur for Pisces. So, and I'm not saying you have to if you don't want to, but for those of you that do, it is a great time for that. And I would definitely put in the work. With the Six of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, again, yeah, stay focused with the Nine of Pentacles, but really good. I mean, Nine of Pentacles is gratitude and luxuries. So there could be a lot of things coming in for you this week that you will be very grateful for or very, happy for. So I really like to see that. The Nine of Pentacles, she also has this snail right here, and the snail wears its home on its back. And so the snail can represent your environment and the energy around you. You have Jupiter in Gemini for until the middle of June, and that is your 4th house. And so I would be using that energy to clean up your home, to change your environment, to create an environment of success, all that other good stuff. With the Hangman, you have the Queen of Swords here. So the Queen of Swords, this could be clarity for sure. I mean, you have the Hangman in the good stuff. The Hangman has gained enlightenment. You have the Eight of Wands, which can also kind of be clarity, or can represent clarity coming in for you. And you have the the Queen of Swords. Obviously, she's seeing clearly for the first time. So that looks amazing as well. You have this bread card. It says period of prosperity or and abundance. Damn, Pisces, definitely a very prosperous week. I kind of feel this need to like take advantage of it. It's like I feel this need to do something about it. Like this isn't you winning the lottery. Sorry, I hate to burst your bubble, but this is like I said on that 10 of Pentacles, I feel like some of you, it's like this could be overtime, or it could be just an opportunity that you should take advantage of that will, maybe it's extra work, but it will be worth it. You also have this wealth card. We see a ton of wealth in this reading. Again, don't be one of those people that like is just like, oh, I'm Neptune and Aries, I'm screwed financially. It's like, no, you have an amazing opportunity with Neptune and Aries and Saturn and Aries and everything else. So take advantage of it. You have this lightning card. It says, control your anger or you will be sorry. I also noticed you have this parrot card that says, someone will gossip about you and all your secrets. So, if anyone's talking about you, I just ignore it. Free attention is free attention. You're clearly getting a lot of attention. Sun, the Fool, even people calling you foolish. The Strength card, right? People could really be seeing your strength. And, maybe people don't like it. Same thing with this parrot card. Someone will gossip about you and all your secrets. Again, if they're talking about you, it's a good thing. It's free attention. So, wouldn't even worry about it. You have this rainbow card. It says, the most difficult part of a situation is over. I don't know. It looks like a really good week, Pisces. I feel like things are improving. Things are getting better, clearly. And it could just be like a major improvement week. So I love this for you. This is like the best reading I've done for you in a while. I'm pretty sure. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.